Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
If you're a fan of comic books and comic book conventions, Daytona Beach Comic Con needs to be on your list of must-attend events. It's a show that actually focuses on comic books. Imagine that! This year's event is happening on Saturday, September the 6th, and Sunday, September the 7th. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. There's a new convention in town, and it's sure to be mega fun without the mega expense. Comics, toys, collectibles, pop culture. ShadowCon, Saturday, February 1st, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. If you find yourself in the Orlando area, and let's be honest, doesn't everyone come to Orlando for the House of Mouse? Head over to Coliseum of Comics to get your comic book fix. Be sure to check out their location on East Colonial Drive, where they carry a wide selection of independent comics, including Silverline books. Stop by and don't forget to tell them Silverline sent you. Hey, if you're an independent comic creator looking to get your comic printed, look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our comics and do a fantastic job. They can even print special edition covers. When you reach out to them, be sure to tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kilber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Okay, that dead air space just freaks me out every time.
No music. Yeah, no music. We need a theme song.
I was busy on another tab getting the link for our current crowdfunder, and it went dead silent. I thought, oh my God, did I drop?
Am I supposed to be on?
Yeah,
right.
Did I drop the StreamYard link? Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday Wham. We have the great Castisi next to us, writer extraordinaire, and he edits my book Divinity.
Yeah.
And we have the venerable Rob Davis of Twilight Grim fame, amongst other things. And speaking of Twilight Grim, what's up with that right now?
It is issue 4 is in previews as we speak. The rest of this month it'll be hanging out in there waiting for people to order it. So go to, if you have an online comic store, go there and order it. If you have a local comic shop, which is better, go order it with them. Tell them you want copies and ask them to put a couple extra on the shelf if they can. What the heck?
Also, we are currently running paste here. We're currently running a crowdfunder, and I just pasted the link in the comment section. Cool. It's the amazing Wolf Hunter. If you like spy thrillers, if you like World War II action, intrigue, and all that good stuff, then you're going to love Wolf Hunter because it brings a little bit of World War intrigue into your life. My dad would love this.
Like we need that.
More intrigue.
Enough intrigue in our lives.
Yes. Well, we're here tonight to talk about the do's and don'ts of networking at a convention, at a Comic-Con.
This is going to be, I'm learning tonight.
Oh, we have a newbie. Oh, yay.
We have a convergent.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask some questions too. So this is going to be interesting. Okay.
All right.
Good. Well, I've been to many, 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 many conventions. I would have to say 90% of my work came from networking at conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other 10%
Absolutely.
word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is networking for all you babes in the woods out there? It is leveraging your public appearance at a comic book convention to advance your professional goals. Otherwise, you're trying to get a job in the comics industry. And how do you go about presenting yourself at a comics con? How do you go about getting somebody's attention? This is what we are going to be talking about tonight. So what is the first thing you would think, Kaz, that you need to do?
I think you need to, and this is as somebody who's just thinking of it and has never done it, right? I think that in order for me to make a connection with people, I have to practice in as shortest time as possible. I don't want to say pitching myself, but presenting myself in a way that is relatable and being somebody that someone wants to work with. And that's probably a lot easier said than done, because you only have a short amount of time to make a really good first impression.
What is your elevator pitch?
That
you were
is
on
exactly
an elevator
right.
with an editor. What would you say to him, or a publisher, anybody? What would you say to them to convince them to hire you to write or draw or whatever?
Develop
that's
an elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch is what that's called.
Practice it in front of a mirror if you have to. If you were like me, and I can't believe I'm sitting here on a podcast talking to all you people like that, but I had to teach myself to be an extrovert because I'm naturally an introvert. I sit here in my studio.
Most artists are. So all three of us, I consider myself an introvert too. No, you wouldn't tell that from meeting me at a convention or seeing me here. But, I prefer to be sitting over there at the computer or at this drawing board working on something.
Absolutely.
Than talking to people at conventions. But once you get there, though, and once you get how to do it, it actually becomes fun then.
And you make friends. And that's a huge deal, because that friendships can come full circle. And round up business for you. But the first thing you have to do is you have to deal with your anxiety. The very first time I ever went to San Diego Comic-Con, I was such a bundle of nerves. Even I approached the people at the Work Graphics booth, and Wendy Peeney says to me, she goes, how can I help you? You have just got waves of anxiety coming off of you.
That was kind of her, though.
Yeah.
Well, she's been on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
So, that's part of it.
It's a learning process. You have to force yourself to go up to people and initiate a conversation. Or you need to, when a conversation is brought to you, you need to be receptive. When doing a portfolio review or sitting down with an editor, you would be amazed at how just listening to somebody can open up a whole new area of networking for you. Carnegie wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the biggest things that he said was that people like to talk about themselves. You need to encourage us. Don't sit there and talk about, and I'm really bad about this. Don't sit there and talk about yourself, how great you are. Get the editor or the publisher or whoever, get them talking about themselves. And they have a tendency to see you in a positive light if you are receptive to their greatness.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like going on a date. I mean, when you're on your first date, the best thing you can do is not yak about yourself. If they want to know something about you, they'll ask. So what you do is you ask them about themselves. Everybody, me included, loves talking about what I'm interested in
Yeah.
and what I like to do, and about me. So ask. That's good practice just as a human being.
I would imagine it's such a. Oh, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Well, like you sit down on a bus next to somebody you don't know. Are you just going to sit there like a bump on a log? You can, but it's a hell of a lot more interesting ride if you start asking questions about the person next to you. If they're reading a book, say, and they have a book. If they're reading it, leave them alone. But if they have a book, ask them about it. So it's just stuff like that. Open, get them to talk to you.
And I'd imagine it's such a double-edged sword too, right? Because even though you are seeking, and I'm going to call it voice of the customer, right? Like even though you're trying to engage with them and make sure that you're learning about them, you have to be prepared to talk about yourself too, and not be all over the place, right? Like make sure that you can communicate succinctly, right? To get, hey, you asked me a question about me. Here's a presentable way to do that, and then let's get back to you, right? And if you're not prepared to do that, if you're, you like, I guess it's okay to stumble, but if you're all over the place and no one can get a clear sense of what you're saying, that probably is like horrible.
Yeah.
Like,
it's been proven that if you're trying to get a job, that the person who's interviewing you seems to have a more favorable opinion of you if you can get them talking too. And it's not just sitting down and telling them how great you are. And back to the elevator pitch. You need to perfect an elevator pitch. They call it an elevator pitch for a reason. It's based on the fact that if you're in an elevator with somebody, you step in, and, oh my God, there's the person you've always wanted to talk to. You basically have 30 seconds between floors to pitch your idea, your book, your skills, whatever. So you try to condense it in 30 seconds. Practice in front of a mirror if you need to, but get it down. And then you go to your portfolio review. I'm looking at my notes here. Always when you're going to a convention, I did the kitty.
Bring your cat.
Yeah, bring your cat. I would hire you in an instant. Never go to a convention without your portfolio. If you're a writer, it's a different type of portfolio. But always have not only your portfolio, but samples that you can give out. Now, don't bring everything you've ever done. That's a big no-no. Bring a very concentrated 3 or 4 samples. And have extra envelopes full of those samples, whether it be artwork or writing samples that you can give away while not giving away your actual portfolio.
So Josh is asking us what we're talking about tonight because he came in late, and we are talking about your con. If you're trying to get a job from a comic book company, what's your con persona? What is it you do in order to get, past the anxiety of walking up and showing your work? So that's what we're talking about tonight.
I know.
Go ahead, Barb. I'm sorry.
I will be on, at a convention, and you're gregarious, and you're talking, and you're networking, and blah 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 blah. And then I go back to my hotel room and have a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to
collapse because you've expended all your energy.
Yeah, it's very strenuous. You would not believe how exhausting it is to be on constantly. I just did over the weekend, I did a 2-day show, and it's at a mall, and it has to be mall hours. So it goes from 10 in the morning to 8 at night, and at your table, and you have to be on the entire time. And it is exhausting to constantly be upbeat and receptive.
And it's not, if you have a table at a convention, it's not just the folks on the other side of the table you have to be concerned with either. You've got people sitting to the left and right of you, and you don't want those folks to be hostile. So you have to be friendly with them as well. But of course, we're talking about you walking up to a table, but that's later on. Once you do get, you also have to have that going on with the folks next to you. Treat your neighbors well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a question since we're on this topic of, hey, you're approaching people, you're networking, you have your elevator pitch. You know, back in the day, I could see why a person would go to a con with the focus of getting in front of like these companies and presenting your portfolio. Do you think the time has changed? And I'm going to ask that in the sense that, hey, when I guess in my thinking, when I approach a con now, it really is to network, to find other people to work with, because I don't really foresee like DC or Marvel or any of those folks like,
And they don't travel as much as they used to.
yeah.
They I used to be able to see them every year
Mm-hmm.
at a convention in Kansas City. Not anymore. They
Well,
they very seldom travel anywhere but San Diego
that
and
is
New
a
York.
very, very good question. But here's a little pushback. Networking can happen anywhere
Anywhere. Yeah.
at the drop of a hat. Like we said before, you get into an elevator at a convention, and nowadays, it's almost impossible to get an appointment at a booth with an editor or a publisher or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know. You're going to step on I've stepped on the elevator with amazing people, movie stars, TV stars, publishers, editors. You never know who you're going to see in the elevator or walking across the street, standing at a bus line, ready to get on the bus, go back to your hotel. Walter Koenig. Oh, hi. How was your day? My feet are sore. Oh my God. I know mine are too. That's a true story. So you never, ever know when networking is going to pop up and the chance is going to be there. So while you probably won't get the chance at the convention itself to nail down a large publisher or editor, that is a very, very good time to cultivate a circle of friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are cultivating relationships, and don't be fake about it either. I mean, be real about cultivating your relationships. One of the biggest assets in the comics community is friends. They can introduce you. They can recommend you. I'm sorry. You know what? And I have done this more times than I can possibly count. I'm sorry, but you know what? I am just slammed. But I know somebody who would be perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will recommend somebody because they're my friend, and I know their work is good. I know their quality of work. I know their work habits because I have developed a relationship with them. And through that, you can get jobs by developing a circle of friends.
I think that's
they'll
very
do the same back. And they do the same back. So.
Yeah.
That's very strong, because today when I think of experiencing the indie world, right? Like, it's not necessarily going to get a job. It's going to create opportunity by networking with folks and connecting with folks. And the more that you can be in that circle of happenings, even if it's just by a mention, the more you're relevant in that space. And so I think it's important for people to know, don't just go in there with, at least from my perspective, don't just go in there with this money thirsty, or this is my only shot, or like, if they don't look at me, I'm going to get so discouraged kind of mentality. Go in there and try and connect, I think.
Right. And it is still possible to hook up with publishers and editors, but you're not going to, I can probably guarantee that you're not going to hook up with DC or Marvel, or maybe even Dark Horse. But there are plenty of other publishers and editors out there at conventions that are willing to sit down with you. Way back in the day, you could catch them behind a booth, and then you go sit out in a hallway and go through your portfolio. I did that so many times, or just sit down behind the booth on the floor so that the people who are at the table can't bug you, and show your portfolio. That's not going to happen much anymore, but that's not to say it can't.
Mm-hmm.
The smaller publishers are usually much more genial and friendly to people who want to show them their portfolio. And there's even ordinary B-list people like me who are looking for talent.
Mm-hmm.
I have a book of my own, Divinity. Where do you think I get my talent? I don't pencil. It would take me years to pencil because I'm too picky. I write, I ink, I color, but I don't pencil. I hire my own talent. And I do comic book shows to make the money to pay the talent. But the point is, I'm still hiring people, me. And so you never know when you're going to find work or where you're going to find it. Another thing that you want to do at a convention is you want to dress for the part.
Ooh, explain this one. This is going to be good. I want to know this.
Okay. Years ago, I was waiting for a portfolio review, and the guy in front of me was sitting down with a DC editor, and he's wearing an X-Men t-shirt.
General love. He could say, I have general love for comic books.
And I mean, that doesn't preclude him getting a job, but the first thing out of the editor's mouth was, so you're a Marvel fan, huh?
Right. That's funny.
But I mean, talent will always win out regardless of your leanings, but still the first impressions are important, right? So
you only get one chance at a first impression.
Right. Don't come in a cosplay outfit to a portfolio review. Don't come all decked out in your fan gear for a portfolio review.
Dress up?
No. Well, I don't. No. I mean, I dress like I'm going to a casual business, maybe.
Casual.
Casual. Clean jeans, smell nice, comb your hair.
Smell nice, but take a shower.
Oh, yeah.
Bathe yourself before.
Oh, please smell good.
And wear a generic shirt. Yes. Wear a generic shirt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's shirts out there that could be more general than you can still wear a t-shirt. You can, but just don't wear one for a company that you're not going to go see.
Yeah,
that's funny. The guy came with an X-Men
shirt great.
For a DC interview. Wow,
that is great.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, if he was talented enough, they wouldn't. But still, their first impression was like.
Do you realize the gravity of the situation? Like, do you realize what you're doing?
Well, don't give them a reason to put you on defense.
Right.
I think is the point. The big point. Don't give them an excuse to put you on the defensive. Now, if you know it's coming and you got a good comeback, you could probably be okay.
Yep.
But why set yourself up?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to dress for success, in a 3-piece suit or anything like that, but don't dress stupid. Be professional looking, at least a little bit. I used to wear jeans and a t-shirt with a blazer over it. That was casual enough, but it was also dressy. So, just be careful how you dress. Dress for the part that you want. If you want a job at Marvel, then dress in Marvel stuff, but don't try to go to DC.
Right.
You're going to need business cards or a postcard, anything with your contact info, your professional name, your phone number, your email address, maybe one or two of your socials. Have them handy. I used to stick them behind my con badge. In the little plastic. I used to stick a bunch of them behind my con badge, and then so I could just whip them out and hand it all over the place. Hand those suckers out. I have got a whole box here of people's business cards.
Yeah.
People have handed me.
Vistaprint's a real good source for inexpensive business cards. Overnight Prints is another one, and they have pre-made designs so you can just plug your information in. And have them send you some. So, but yeah, definitely get business cards. I made my own back in the day because I printed them out on the computer. but it's much better to have them professionally printed. But that was better than nothing. And that's exactly how I broke into the industry, is giving somebody a meeting. I met R.A. Jones at a convention in Wichita, Kansas, handed him my business card. And months down the road, he was having trouble with the artist on the book he was working on, Scimitar. And he got out my card and called me up and said, would you be interested in working on this book? Just a couple of issues. And I said, sure. And that was it. That was it. After that, the dominoes started to fall. So it's making those connections.
Yeah. And what was I going to say? I don't know. I forgot.
Now cards are probably really cool.
Oh yeah, at my shows, I have a little business card rack on there, and I don't have my personal phone number on any of my business cards. I have 2 sets of business cards. I have one I give out at shows with general stuff like my socials, my email, and what I do, and then I have a set of professional cards which also has my phone number on it. And at shows, people take my cards. I'm constantly having to order new cards because people are taking my cards all the time.
You could probably put a QR code on your card so they could just go to your. Yeah.
Here's postcards that I had made for Airship 27. We set those out on the table.
Nice.
And it's got a space on the back. If you wanted, you could print a QR code or just whatever, or you can put one on the front too. But just something. And it's got the Airship 27 hangar.com, which is our catalog location. And you just have those handy, set them on the table. People pick them up and walk off with them. And sometimes you get a connection out of that and sometimes you don't, but
I have a QR code on the back of my cards and it takes them to a link tree, link tree, which has got all my socials. So on the flip side, collect business cards. Collect, because you never know when one of those is going to come in handy. I have business cards from people who are just starting out, and then 2 years later they were Mr. Big. Yeah. I can remember I had Joe Casada's email business card from way before he became the head editor at Marvel. And I decided to email him one day when he was at Marvel. I'm like, surely he's changed his email address by now, right? No, he had not.
He still had that email. Yeah.
He still had that email. Yeah, that was kind of weird. But still, collect business cards like they're going out of style. Because you never know when you're going to want to dig one out of the stack.
I have a story on that.
Okay, go for
it. I went to a wedding of a friend's daughter, and didn't take any business cards with me.
Josh,
because I didn't expect I'd run into anybody that was interested in what I did, or that I would need to make a contact with. But somehow the word got out that I was a comic book artist, and I had 3 people at that wedding come up to me and start chatting me up, and I said, well, this is the one time in my life I don't have any business cards to hand out. So from then on, I always have business cards on me. So you really don't know. Yeah, I've got my cash box is full of cards.
This is just new ones. I have older ones in another box.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it. You get yourself. I actually have a little card holder, a little metal card holder that I have 3 or 4 cards in. Yeah. Lynn Wein. Yeah.
Yep. I have all kinds of them. Be friendly. Be open. Like we were discussing before, your fellow creators might turn out to be your biggest asset. I'm looking at my notes here. Sorry. One of the easiest ways that a friendship can evolve into work is for a collaboration. It's not. I mean, yes, you get opportunities where somebody will say, I can't do it, but I know who can. Most often it's somebody will call you up and say, remember we met at such and such con and I saw your work and you're fantastic. What do you think about working together? I've got an opportunity and I'd like you to be my anchor. That has happened to me a lot. You know, so the friendships can evolve. And you might volunteer information to a new friend that you meet. Say you walk up to a total stranger. You say, hi, I'm Cassisi. I'm a writer for Silverline. Hi, I'm Rob. I'm Rob Davis. I'm a penciler. Robus. I'm a penciler. Hi, I'm Barb Kelberg. I'm an inker and colorist. You know, always have something, a catchphrase to or an introduction ready to give people. Just don't say it. Walk up and say, hi, I'm Barb. Okay. Hi, Barb. You know,
Hi, Barb.
You want to catch their interest right away. And then you find out what you guys have in common and build on that. And then expand your circle of friends. My circle of friends are dying off. That's sad.
Or moving out of the industry, or
moving
that's
the industry. Yeah,
that's what happened to me. A lot of my contacts left the industry and went off and did other things. Now some of them are coming back, like Roland. Was he was a friend of a friend. I knew him and he knew me, but we had never dealt with each other before. But and again, R.A. Jones, you know, dragged me kicking and screaming into Silverline, and I'm still here. So you know,
I knew R.A. Jones
new friends
from the Malibu days. Yeah,
yep.
I knew him. Yep, used to do a mean Ray Harryhausen movements. He would walk. He would do the animated, you know, like skeleton.
Like
he was
stop
really
motion
good.
characters.
Yes, he could do those really, really good. Anyway, here's a little known thing that people don't think about. If you're going to go to a big convention, they will usually, at least on their websites, but sometimes they'll put out booklets ahead of time, the people who are going to appear there. Now you need to go through that list and figure out who you would like to meet. And tailor your pitch or your materials towards those specific people. And if you have the chance, pass them by or see them at their table, their booth, go up to their booth, hand them, you know, hi, I'm Cassisi. I'm a writer. Here's my material. Have it ready, have it streamlined, tailored for the person that you want to see. And you'll know that they're going to be there because they've been advertised to be there. Does that make sense to people?
A lot of times they'll also, if you do a Google search, maybe you can find where whatever company they're working for may have a list of what you need to have in your presentation to give to them. So that they'll in some cases it'll be like, okay, we want a synopsis of the book you're talking about, and just a few pages of panel to panel continuity that you're going to write for writers. For artists, it could be we need 3 or 4 penciled pages, or we need 3 or 4 inked pages, or if you're a letterer, 3 or 4 pages of lettering. So they may have a list of what they want their folks to give to them. So do a little research and figure out what you need to have ready for this person when you meet them.
Any thoughts on that, Cassisi?
No, this is all good. This is all good advice. I mean, the advice that you're giving is much like a normal, much like a corporate interview, right? Tailor your resume towards the particular opportunity that you're going for. Research, right? What things do they want you to come ready to talk about, present? Yeah.
Well, a lot of people forget that comics is a business. And you have to approach it like a business. It's not a hobby. It's a business. They, especially the larger corporations, they are out to make money. And you have to present yourself as a professional.
Someone who can add value. That's the thing, right? Yeah.
Add value to their product. That's correct. When many years ago, I never missed a deadline, and I was always very professional because I was already 29 when I broke in and already had kids. I was already out in the world. And I approached it like a business because I needed the money to keep a roof over our heads because Dick was out of business at the time, or out of work at the time. And then I got stuck with young kids, artists who are in it for the glamour and the fun, and we would get behind, and
and guess who had to catch it up?
Right. And then I'd call them and say, "Where's my pages? I'm just not feeling the art today," and I'm like, this is a business. This is a business. You have to, it's like an assembly line. You are a cog in the wheel of the works, Yes, turn out good work, but turn it out.
Yeah. It's I always say, the trick as an artist is knowing when to let it go. It's good enough. Pass it on. Do the best work you can in a reasonable amount of time, and then pass it on, because that next person in line they need to eat too.
Yeah.
Both of you need to eat. So the only way that's going to happen is if you pass those pages on.
That's right.
So, yep, got to keep it moving.
Another big resource at conventions that a lot of people don't think about are the panels.
Yes.
You need to go any type of panel that you can fit into your schedule that is given by creators, publishers, and advice-based panels. Attend them and take notes. The very first San Diego Comic-Con I ever went to, Dick Giordano gave a panel on inking, and I took notes like I was studying for a final exam at college. And it was an awesome panel. I learned so much on that panel because the first convention I went to, I took everything but the kitchen sink in my portfolio. It was everything wrong, right? And I learned what I needed to do for the next convention, and I learned what I should be practicing on by going to this panel. Panels are great. Not only that, but at the end of the panel is another opportunity to meet your heroes or your publishers or your editors, because those guys give lots and lots of panels, and then they have to get down off the stage and walk to their booth, and that's when you pounce.
And to be honest, they expect that.
Yeah.
They expect a little bit of that. They don't come to these with the idea that they're just I'm gonna get up on the stage, do my thing, and then leave. They know that they're like us, that they have to be on too. They have to be on the whole time. But you also need to respect their space. You should be able to read a person and tell, okay, I can see he or she, they're not quite in the right mood. I'm going to go walk around the convention and come back, and hopefully they'll be in a better mood. Maybe the person ahead of you pissed them off.
Right.
Or, or just push their button. So best maybe to just kind of back off for a little bit and come back a little bit later. So
yeah.
you have to be aware of all that stuff.
I always had two approaches. If I came up to somebody and I could see that they were going,
there's
like that,
another one.
Yeah, there's another one. I would just say, hey, great panel, loved it. And I'd walk away. If they seemed receptive, I say, hey, I'd like to show you, or I'd like to give you an envelope of my samples, if you'd be willing to take it. So yeah, you got to have two approaches. You got to have the fine, I'm going approach. And then the, hey, as long as you're here approach. All right. This is an important one for everybody. Everybody listening here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hang on. Roland wants to come in. Hang on just a second.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Oh, Roland's going to join.
Yep.
Good. That's a good thing.
Yep. Hang on.
Yeah, he can bring some insight here because he's been behind that table for decades now, so he can help you out there. I mean,
hang on.
The thing about it, Cassisi, is your foot's already in the door, But I mean, you can take this further, but your foot's already in the door.
It's I think
more than you think, really, more than you think. But I mean, all this advice is still. You shouldn't just let it go past you.
Oh, I'm not.
You should absorb some of this, absolutely. But
no,
at
I'm
the same
already.
time, you're already a step up on a lot of folks that are out there. So
let me ask you guys this, because this is really important to me, I think, and I think a lot of people feel this way. They may not say it. When you both came up in the industry, right? It was organized in a way where there's a pipeline. The professional part of it, was highly esteemed, and so you could see yourself working to get in that zone, right? And so for, I guess, the current environment, for instance, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like you aspired to be a part of the machine, and you knew when your stuff was good because you were a part of the machine, right? And the machine produces good things. In the current environment, it's more likely that you have to produce, right? And so you don't have the big machine, and there's that line. And I always ask this of people: how do you determine that you have crossed over into the realm where your stuff is good enough, right, to be in the same booths as everybody else?
Are you making a living?
Let's say you're not receiving money from your books yet, but you need to, this is the avenue for you to do that. And how do you determine, because again, in the past, you can join the machine paid you.
Right.
You knew that you were adding value and producing something good because the machine produces good things, the machine being the industry. But now you are so independent in the industry. In order for you to become a part of any machine in the industry, how do you cross that threshold to know?
Success and the threshold is very subjective.
Okay. Talk to me.
Yeah.
It's very subjective.
Yeah.
Do you have a fan base? Doesn't matter who you work for. If you have a fan base, if people want your product, you're a success.
Any number of people.
Yeah. I mean, you could have 10 fans and you could count yourself successful because you've got something other people want.
I think that's great advice. I think that's great perspective, right? Because you get lost, and I need thousands of people,
right?
Hundreds of thousands of people, right?
And Rob and I have been all the way to the top and all the way back down to the bottom, and now we're somewhere. We've found a comfortable niche.
It wasn't top tier. I never made it to. I never did any of the superhero books.
Which are
the top tier, which Barb has done.
I was the flavor of the month for a while, but and everywhere in between. And I never felt like, oh, I've made it. No, because I felt that way when I did the black and white Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt that way when I was working on Ultraverse. I felt that way when I did Godzilla for Dark Horse. I mean, Godzilla, come on!
Well, it's really about, in my case,
it's really about you just taking pride in what you do. Like it has to be independent. If you have any level of a following, I won't say you're good enough, but you could feel like you can put something out there,
right,
and be a part of the machine. So to actually go to a con and be confident enough to go, man, I could see people going, I don't know if I should give the person my portfolio, right? Does that make sense? I know some
what harm is it going to do?
And I think that's important to say.
More harm is chickening out and never doing it.
Right.
Well, And
Being in the
that's what I was going to talk about, because there are lots of people out there who have talent out the wazoo, but they can't make that step from you when you're first starting out. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to fake it till I make it. And you work at it, and there's a point at which you go, okay, I'm not faking it anymore. I'm actually doing it. But there are the people out there who never get past that. I'm going to get caught I'm faking it, and I'm going to get caught any minute. And that scares the crap out of them, and they can't make that final jump. It's hard for me to explain how to get past that. But there's a point at which your ego and your self-worth, you have to go, okay, I may not be Jack Kirby, I may not be Neil Adams, but I'm doing decent work, I'm getting work, and I'm doing it at a professional level. So I'm not faking it anymore. I'm actually a professional. And getting to that point is tough. Because there's that anxiety, there's that wall in there, and the anxiety until you get past that, and then it's, oh wait, I'm here. Because if you're working constantly at getting better, eventually you'll pass the line and you won't even realize you've passed it yet. Boom, you're there, and you go, oh wait, the wall's back there.
Yeah,
wow.
When did that happen?
Yeah, when did that happen?
As far as success is concerned, and I'll go back to this show I just did this weekend, all the money that I make goes back into divinity. So I'm not making a profit on my own book. I'm hiring my talent. I'm doing stuff. I don't make any money on divinity. Roland's trying to get in here.
and
so
she and I are in a position that
I don't need to. I'm retired. I have retirement.
I'm retired and I've got an income.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about this being my income. So,
however,
2 days before the show, somebody PM'd me on Facebook and said, "Are you going to be at the show this weekend?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Great, because I want to get Divinity number 4.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to go specifically to get Divinity number 4. Now, at the con, I had a girl come up to me on day 1 of the show, buy Divinity number 1, went home, came back the next day just to get 2, 3, and 4.
That's awesome.
That makes me a success.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Those two things are the best compliments I could ever get. Somebody who contacts me specifically asking if I'm going to be at the show so he can get Divinity number 4. Or somebody, and this has happened more than once, buys number 1, goes out into the lobby and reads it, or goes home and reads it, comes back, and I have to have 2, 3, and 4 now.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Now you know you were successful. Roland.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yay!
Hey.
What's going on?
We're talking about how to network.
I have been. It's a lot harder to connect from my phone in a moving car than I thought it would be.
That's that sound. Okay.
Yeah. Y'all for like 30 minutes.
You're cutting in and out.
I'd like to add something, if I may.
You better believe.
So one of the great things that you can have as a creator when you're meeting people is a sample of your work. When I was an editor, I hated it when people came up and gave me photocopies, but I absolutely loved it when they said, "Hey, I made this comic. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Man, yeah, give me your comic. I want to see it."
That's cool. Yes. Very good point. Very good point. Have something that you've done.
And that's easier to do today than it's ever been.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks to
way easier.
Yeah.
God,
thanks to print on demand.
Right.
Yeah.
Much
very
easier.
Easy. Here's one of the most important things I can stress about trying to break in.
Be careful of whose toes you step on your way up, because they may be attached. They may be attached to the ass you have to kiss on the way down.
Oh, Tommy chimed in. You got to be willing to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep putting.
You got to be willing and able to keep putting yourself out there. Take all the comments, good and the bad, and use them to make yourself stronger.
That is
Very
correct.
Good. Absolutely.
That is correct.
Yep.
That's it.
So be kind. Be kind to everybody, because that will pay off in the end. And people will remember you for your professionalism and your kindness.
I like to put it in a slightly different way. When you're climbing the ladder, don't tread on anybody on the way up, because some of those people may be the ones you want catching you on the way back down.
Yeah,
that's right.
So,
and that has
if everybody's watching you just fall, you've stepped on people on the way. Don't do that.
Yep.
And that played out for me. I've always tried to be nice to people and be professional. I got a call last summer out of the blue from somebody I hadn't heard from in 20 years.
Wow.
And I got a big project out of Japan out of it.
Oh,
Just
nice.
They remembered me. They remembered working with me and that I was nice, I was professional. And out of the blue, I landed a huge project. It pays to be nice. I mean, I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Be nice, be professional, be courteous.
It is true.
Yeah.
Because the other side of that is, I don't want to work with people who are jerks.
Yeah,
that's true.
And
that leads me right into my big don't list.
Uh-oh.
Don't say anything negative about another individual in the industry. That can affect your own reputation and come back to bite you in the ass. Just be nice, and leave politics, religion, and money at home. Don't bring those they don't belong in any conversation that has to do with comics. And I know people may not agree with me on that, but I don't do that on my socials.
You don't want to limit yourself, because when you start dragging those things in, you're going to limit yourself. I mean, I know for a fact right now, some of the people that I collaborate with, that their politics and mine do not mix. But we don't talk about politics.
That's right.
We talk about comics.
Leave it at the door.
Yep.
You can all, I mean, people of all types can rally around the one thing that they do like, comics. So
comics.
Find common ground and be nice. Don't lie. Transparency is important, because if you lie, eventually you're gonna be found out. And that's gonna be more troublesome than it's worth. Of course, there's those.
Howdy.
Yeah.
I found lying is too much work.
Yeah. The only time I ever lied.
After you tell the first lie,
you try to remember
the second lie to cover the first lie, and just that's too much work. I do not want to deal. That's way too much work.
The only
I can't keep up with it all.
The only lie I ever told was to get my first job in comics when Chris Ulm, it was Chris Ulm or Tom Mason, asked me if I could do gray washes. I said, sure, no problem. No idea what it was, so I went home and studied on it. And I got the job. That's the only time I ever told a lie. Lied to get into the industry, but it worked. If I wouldn't have had the chops to back it up, that would have been one and done. So. I would have been found out.
Over for you right then and there. Yep.
That's right.
That word would have got out real quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't sit at your table with your head buried in a sketchbook or on the iPad or your whatever. You're there to network. You are there. You're there to hustle. You're there to press the flesh. So
one way or another. Yep.
Be present at your table. Stand up. I mean, at least part of the time. I don't stand up all the time. My feet would fall off. But be present, be looking out at people, smile. You want them to stop at your booth, and they're not going to do that if you have your head buried in your sketchbook. You give off an air of an unapproachable vibe.
It's so true. Even if I'm not interested in a booth, if you can get my attention, it pulls me away for at least a second to hear what you have to say, or even look down more closely at what you have.
That's just
I
it.
think that's very true. Yeah.
People have a tendency to walk by the table with tunnel vision. They don't even look to the sides, right? You have to get them looking over at you. So I'll go, hi, good morning. Oh, I like your shirt.
Hey, Roland, what do you say at the table when people walk
Roland's
by?
a master at this.
Roland, you still there? What do you say to people as they...
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me.
Can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I must have a little bit of a delay. I usually say, "Hey, do you like comics?" and then I start off the conversation with that.
Yeah, and what comics do you like? Yeah.
Right. I find out, and usually they might have a shirt on or something like that will look. Hey, you like Batman? Or hey, you like Green Lantern? Well, let me tell you about these comics right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of times, all you need to do is get somebody to turn their head your way.
Yep. Most people will listen, even if they don't pick something up. Most people will listen.
Yep.
But they won't pick it up if they're not even looking. They might pick it up if you engage in them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's at least the possibility if you get their attention, and even better if you can get them to pick it up or hand it to them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's big. But yeah, now I break one of Barb's rules here because I do sit and draw at the comics conventions, but I do it in a way I always look around as well while I'm doing it, and if somebody walks by, by my drawing, a lot of times people will say, "I wonder what he's drawing."
Mm-hmm.
In fact, at the beginning of a show, that's what I'll. If I'm not doing anything yet, if I'm not doing a commission, I'll just get out my sketchbook or get out a piece of paper and just start drawing what I want to draw, just for myself. And it gets people to stop. But you got to also be aware. You got to have good peripheral vision because you got to catch those people as they walk by.
Mm-hmm.
You catch one and you see their eyes come over your way. You go, "Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
Yeah.
I will just throw them a question.
If the show is slow, I'll color, but I'll like this. I'm looking around all the time. Mm-hmm.
I can usually get things going by doing a drawing of some sort. So but
people love to watch artists draw.
Yeah, and I usually try to sit in a way where they can see what I'm drawing, because the booth that I get at Kansas City Comic-Con, I'm at the end of the row. So people who walk by to the right of me can see me as I'm drawing. So I love that spot. It's right at the escalator. People come up, enter the show, and they walk right by where I am. And if I'm drawing, that'll get their attention. So, but you got to get their attention somehow. And one of those is to do what I do, draw. Or the other one is have a good question to throw at them or a good pattern of some sort, I
like to comment on their shirts, what they're wearing.
Get them engaged. If they're dressed up in cosplay, tell them honestly what you think of their costume. If it's a negative, keep it to yourself. If it's a positive, give it to them. But great costume, man. I love it. That's my favorite. And I'll get out my phone and take their picture. And I really do appreciate some of the costumes that go by. Mm-hmm. But you just engage the people as they go by.
And have your elevator pitch ready.
And have your elevator pitch ready. We discussed that at the beginning of the show.
Yep. Sorry, I missed that.
No, that's okay.
Another don't is be wary of parties. There will be parties. There will be after con parties. There will be bar parties. There will be private parties. And go to them. Have fun. It's an absolutely fantastic place to network, but don't get drunk.
Unless you're a happy drunk, if you're
don't leave that memory. Don't leave that memory. Don't make that impression.
Don't make that impression.
Don't let anyone remember you for something that you wouldn't want your mother to know. Because you want to leave a good impression, not an embarrassing impression.
Yeah. I haven't been to a party in so long, an after show party for eons. But yeah,
I used to go to the San Diego all the time.
Oh yeah.
some of my fondest memories of the Chicago Con and San Diego were the after parties. Yeah,
the after parties. Yes. A drink, but know your limits. You know, don't get so drunk that you're going to get stupid. And when you do when somebody does review your portfolio, don't take it personally.
Right.
That is a huge one. I mean, they may rip you apart. They may rip your work apart upside down and sideways. It's not personal. You can't take it personally. They are trying to help you. Take in what they're saying. And if you think some of what they're saying is total bullshit, then discard it. But keep the gold nuggets, you know, and take that stuff home and implement it.
Because you can't get it normally, right? Like,
yeah.
But
What I always tell people is that if you go to a show, go to a bunch of different artists. If you've got editors you can go talk to them, and other creators, and you'll get comments about your work if you're trying to break in, if you're trying to get better at what you're doing. If they keep repeating the same thing, if all of them are saying the same thing about, zero in on that, because if everyone's seeing it, it's a problem. Work on it.
Right.
So that's the one I got. But if there's a one-off,
take it or leave it. Use your best judgment.
Take or leave those. Some of those are actually useful. Some of them are completely useless. So it'll be a matter of you deciding whether you want to take those on or not. But if everybody's saying the same thing or something similar, you got to work on that item. That's the trick.
Comics is a part of the entertainment industry, and it's a very competitive, tough industry. You have to have a tough skin. So if it's too hot in the kitchen, get out of the kitchen. You don't belong there. If you can't take the criticism,
do it as a hobby.
You don't do
it as a hobby.
Do it as a hobby, because you don't belong it, because it's part of a multi-million-dollar industry. You got to have a thick skin. So,
and I think your key.
Well, I think we've just about
don't take it personal.
Yeah, it isn't.
Yeah,
it's a business. It's not personal.
It is.
Yeah. Don't get an attitude with the editor like, well, screw you. You don't know anything.
Right.
Yes, but he's the person who's hiring. So
or don't belittle their knowledge, right? Like, they've spent years doing this thing, and when you think that out of the 15 seconds you've been in it, you can do it like 15 times better than them, and you're constantly defending the thing, that's probably not a good idea, right?
Yeah. And
if you have to go, but I did it like this, because you've lost already.
Right.
I was going to add that something on that order is that number one, take your best work to the show.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an artist, take your best work. And when you're showing it, don't say, "Oh, that's old. I could do better than that." Well, then do better. Then do better than that.
Yeah.
And put that in your portfolio, and take that piece of crap out. Because don't apologize. Do not apologize for what you've brought.
Right.
If it is, you're bringing to their attention that you're not as good as you could be. Well, you're trying to put as best foot forward as you can. Don't apologize. Show your best work. Don't apologize for what's in your portfolio.
And if you have to explain to them why you did something the way you did, or what you were doing, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times when people come by and show portfolios to me at conventions, the first thing I see is a lot of pinups.
Yes.
That does comics no good. If you're wanting to be a comic book artist, you need to produce continuity. You need to produce
tell a story.
Tell a story with pictures. A pinup is lots of artists can do a really cool pinup, but it takes some skill to tell a story with little tiny pinups all pinned on one page.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, don't just bring pinups. Bring continuity. Tell a story with your pictures.
Yep, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
Very awesome.
Are we? Yeah, we're
over already.
after
Did you
the
learn
hour.
anything,
We went over.
Cassisi?
I did. Respectfully engage, put your best foot forward, practice your elevator pitch, be confident, and know that if you're aspiring to do something, you have the right to do that, right? Like, don't apologize for what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, you just very concise. Very good, Cassisi.
Here's a great book for you. It's an old book, but it's still true. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Yeah, that's a really good book. I read that like early on in my career, and I put a lot of that. I don't have to do that anymore because I don't need to, but because I'm not trying to win friends and influence people anymore. But I put a lot of that into practice when I was trying to get jobs.
You have to. Yeah, go ahead.
If you want a good book for writing, this one was recommended to me by Denny O'Neill, called Writing to Sell by Scott Meredith.
Mm-hmm. Writing it down.
Writing to Sell.
Writing to Sell. Scott Meredith.
Very good.
Yeah, because there's a difference between just writing for the enjoyment of it and writing to sell.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this all circles back to the fact that this is a business.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're only making enough, like I am at this point in time, to cover my my talent and my expenses, it's still a business. I may not be making a profit off of Divinity, but somebody is making a profit off of Divinity, and that's makes it a business. I've got my penciler working on number 7 right now.
Woo-woo!
Yeah, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are penciled. I need to ink and color them, and I just sent the script off last Friday to my penciler. So that means I have already gotten the money together to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where all my money goes.
Being that far ahead is excellent. That's
very awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Anybody have any other pearls of wisdom that they want to impart before we sign off?
Yeah, I think we're good. At least for now. There's always, there's always
nice
more.
Job, y'all.
There's always more.
Yeah, thanks for the wisdom shared.
Thanks for popping in, Roland.
Yeah.
Sorry my connection's so bad.
Oh no, it's actually better now.
Oh, that's
yeah.
That's good.
Are you driving in the snow?
No, the snow didn't make it down to me.
Yeah,
I still got about an hour to go to get home, though. So.
Oh well, it's only 17 below here, so come on.
It's 39 here.
Cold for you guys.
All right. Well, everybody.
Oh man, that's freezing to me. Are you kidding?
It was 8 this morning. Yeah.
All right, we're going to sign off here, everybody. So, as we like to say here on Wednesday Wham, make mine
Silverline.
Hi, I'm Greg Horn. Make mine Silverline.